So, at the beginning of the story, we see a girl named Lili who was going home on her bicycle. Suddenly, a lot of dogs start chasing her. Actually, there was a leader dog among these who had gathered all the city's dogs to take revenge on humans. From there, the story shifts into a flashback showing Lili playing with her pet dog, Hagen. Then Lili's mother, Elsa, comes there and takes both of them with her. Here we learn that Lili's parents have separated and Elsa has found a new partner. Hence, Lili doesn't have a strong bond with her parents and devotes all her time to Hagen. Moreover, today Elsa had planned on departing for a work-related journey to Australia. Consequently, she intends to drop Lili off with her former spouse Daniel. At that moment, we encounter Daniel, who was previously employed in a butchery inspecting meat. After Daniel completes his job and steps out, he spots Elsa and Lili awaiting him. Then Elsa asks Daniel to take care of Lili and her dog for a few days. After several years, Daniel reunited with his daughter Lili. He felt a twinge of sadness seeing her accompanied by Hagen, as dogs were forbidden in Daniel's residence. Still, wishing to make his daughter joyful, he consented to accommodate Hagen. Subsequently, they proceeded towards the Putin home. On their way, Daniel's landlord noticed them and reiterated the no-dog policy of the building. Daniel assured him that the dog would only be there briefly. That evening, Lili and Daniel had dinner together. During the meal, Lili played with Hagen and fed him her food, which Daniel didn't like, so he scolded her. After dinner, Lili wanted to take Hagen to sleep in her room, but Daniel disagreed and locked Hagen in the bathroom instead. Distressed, Hagen howled all night, preventing both Daniel and Lili from sleeping. Therefore, to calm Hagen, Lili went to him and played the trumpet to lull him to sleep. The next morning, an inspector from Animal Control arrives at Daniel's house and begins asking him for the tax to keep a registered dog in the house. It turns out that during the night, Daniel's neighbors, annoyed by the barking of Hagen, had complained to Animal Control. Meanwhile, Daniel tries to hide Hagen from the inspector, but just then Hagen comes out of the bathroom, convincing the inspector that there is indeed a dog in Daniel's house. Nevertheless, Daniel refuses to listen to the inspector and denies paying the fine. On the other hand, witnessing her father in a state of anger and stress, she fears that he may decide to take Hagen to the pet shelter. Therefore, she conceals Hagen in her music school's storage area. Yet, Hagen finds his way into the classroom, rattled by the intense music, provoking Lili's instructor's ire. The instructor insists that Lili take her dog out of the classroom, but she is reluctant to abandon Hagen. Lili departs with Hagen, and during their journey, they come across Daniel. In fact, the music teacher had already called Daniel to inform him that Lili had brought her dog to school. Here, Daniel yells at Lili in the car and tells her to leave Hagen at the animal shelter. Hearing this, Lili begins to plead with her father not to take Hagen to the shelter. However, Daniel insists on his decision and angrily removes Hagen from the car. After which, Hagen follows their car but couldn't keep up for long and gets separated. At night, we see Lili, who plans to search for Hagen. She starts taking out meat from the fridge for Hagen. During this time, Daniel arrives and sends Lili out of the kitchen and tells her to go to sleep. Here we see Hagen, who was waiting at the same spot for Lili. But when Lili doesn't come, he sets out in search of food. During this, he comes across a dead dog's body on the roadside, which had been hit by a car. Here Hagen understands that pausing in the street comes with risks for him, thus he withdraws from the area. Traveling a short way, he catches the aroma of meat, leading him to a butcher's store where he gazes at the various meats. While doing so, he notices a pale dog making its way to the same store. Observing this, Hagen too decides to trail the determined dog, eventually arriving at the rear entrance of the butcher shop. There, many dogs are eating the leftover meat from the butcher shop. But when Hagen tries to eat the meat, the other dogs start barking at him. Their barking draws the attention of the butcher, who starts chasing all the dogs away. However, Hagen remains there and starts barking at the butcher, which angers the butcher. Noticing this, Hagen hides in the shop's cutting room, but the butcher sees him and tries to stab him with a knife. During this, the white dog arrives, who comes to save Hagen by grabbing the butcher's leg. Afterwards, Hagen goes to a secluded place with the white dog. There are many dogs at this place which were enjoying and drinking water from a pond. Seeing this, Hagen tries to join their group, but those dogs do not include him. Therefore, Hagen goes and sits with the white dog because from now on, only he was his friend. But the next day, the people who catch dogs arrive at that desolate place. As a result, Hagen and his friend have to run away from there, but Hagen gets surrounded by two people. Hagen feels that they are good people, so he does not move away from those men. Seeing this, the white dog starts barking, making Hagen realize that those people are a threat to him. Therefore, Hagen runs away from there and tries to hide from them. During this, a homeless man hides Hagen with him, after which the homeless man feeds Hagen and puts a rope around his neck. We see Daniel, who takes Lili to her music school and tells her to apologize to the teacher. Then Lili tells her father and teacher that I will not seek Hagen. Since I've come to understand Hagen brings difficulties to many, I proceed to the location where Daniel previously left Hagen after lessons, yet he is nowhere to be found. Consequently, I begin searching for him through the nearby alleys. Moreover, I place lost posters of Hagen in various locations. Meanwhile, a vagrant trades Hagen to a restaurateur for a meal. It becomes apparent that this restaurateur is likewise involved in the illicit trade of stray canines. A customer named Box comes to the house dealer and starts selecting dogs for a fight club. The dealer shows him the most dangerous dog, but he chooses one which the dealer tries to dissuade him from, telling him that the dog's skin is too thin to participate in the fight club. However, Box is confident that he will turn Hagen into a fighter dog. Afterwards, Box feeds sleeping pills to Hagen and takes him away. As Hagen awakens, Sebols administers a portion of protein to bolster his strength. Moreover, he disciplines Hagen to craft him into a ferocious canine. Subsequently, Abovs hastily conditions him to become an untamed creature, thereby preparing Hagen for competition in a combat arena. Concurrently, Lili, who persists in her quest for Hagen, proceeds to an establishment for animal care and initiates questions regarding Hagen with the person in charge. The owner there expressed that surviving on the streets for a dog is very difficult, so he believed that Hagen might have been hit by a car or drowned in a river. In the meantime, Lili's bike gets stolen. This prevents her from returning home. From here, Balls takes Hagen to the fight club, where two husky dogs are made to fight against each other, and the dog that survives the fight is declared the winner, resulting in a substantial amount of money for the owner of the winning dog. Hagen is then prompted to confront a dark-furred Rottweiler, culminating in a perilous skirmish involving the pair of canines. At the outset, Hagen was being defeated in the battle, but in a rapid turn of events, he cuts the throat of the Rottweiler, securing his victory, and is filled with elation while still observing the fallen Rottweiler. Shortly thereafter, an individual attempts to procure Hagen from the crate, but the crate's owner declines the offer, sparking a dispute with the man when unexpectedly the illumination is extinguished. The box holder suspects that his dog has been pilfered, whilst Hagen seizes the moment to make his getaway. Lili opts to stroll to her residence as dusk falls and encounters her conservatory peer Peter, to whom she proposes a visit to the nightclub together. Hesitant initially, Peter concedes to accompany her on the condition that she helps conceal his narcotics for entry into the establishment. Subsequently, Lili begins covertly carrying his narcotics into the establishment, and due to her tender age, the doorman overlooks her. Once they are inside the nightclub, Peter abandons Lili to her own devices and wanders away with a different girl. Whenever Lili gets angry on Lilicost's day, she drinks and ends up falling asleep there. The next morning, the police come to the club and take Lili to the police station for a drug test. But Lili's test comes back negative just when Daniel arrives and feels responsible for her condition. So, weeping, Daniel apologizes to Lili and suggests she adopt a new dog. Lili has forgiven her father and indicates she no longer desires a dog. She then makes her way back home with her father. On the following day, even though Daniel is scheduled to work, he is concerned Lili might decide to flee once more. Lili gives her word to Daniel that she will stay put, providing him with enough assurance to head off to his job. At the same time, Hagen arrives at a remote location and joins up with his companion, the white dog. Subsequently, they head over to a pond for some playful times and to scout for food. Just at that moment, dog catchers show up and transport both to the animal shelter. Upon observing Hagen's limp, the shelter proprietor promptly arranges for his care. While waiting in the room for his procedure, Hagen unexpectedly glimpses a woman in the next room placing a deceased dog she had recently euthanized into a sack. Subsequent to his medical attention, Hagen finds himself confined within an enclosure alongside fellow canines. Although the shelter staff distributes meals to each dog's pen, Hagen refrains from eating, his trust in others having been utterly shattered. Some visitors come to the shelter to adopt dogs. Then, a girl takes a liking to Hagen, but when she approaches his cage, Hagen tries to pounce on her. Seeing this, the shelter owner asks her workers to handle Hagen. Meanwhile, we see Lili's music school, where a concert was about to take place, in which Lili was also going to perform. Therefore, Daniel comes to the concert to support his daughter. Meanwhile, a worker is putting Hagen in a cage with other dogs. In the scene where Hagen fractures his collarbone and savagely dispatches the worker by targeting his throat, all the canines break free from the enclosure and begin to flee, regarding Hagen as their alpha. The proprietor of the animal shelter attempts to halt Hagen and his pack, yet she is petrified by witnessing Hagen's fury, stumbles, and loses consciousness. Following that, all the dogs follow Hagen and spread onto the streets, causing panic among the townspeople. Also, due to hunger, all dogs get angry and start attacking humans to snatch their food. Meanwhile, some dogs break into Lili's music concert and encircle the building. Seeing so many dogs, everyone gets extremely scared. Therefore, for their safety, everyone locks themselves in the hall and waits for the police. Lili was sure that Chicken would also be with these dogs, hence she insists on searching for Hagen, to which Peter tries to explain that leaving here is not without danger. But later, Peter helps her out and lends her his bicycle. After that, Lili sets off to find her friend Hagen. Meanwhile, a pack of dogs come rushing out from an alley and start chasing her, knocking her off the bike. However, none of the dogs attack Lili. Instead, they all run away as if they were chasing a special target. Seeing this, it seemed they were all pursuing their special target. On the other hand, Hagen decides to take revenge on all those who had harmed him. Therefore, he first goes to the owner of the restaurant who had sold him out. Reaching the restaurant, Hagen along with his men attack the man, killing him. Shortly after, Lili arrives at the location. Just then, the police arrive and arrest Lili on suspicion of approaching the crime scene. But Lili smartly escapes from there and reaches a butcher shop where she finds the body of a butcher. In fact, this butcher was Hagen's next victim. Here we find Lili becoming ill at the sight of so much blood. She promptly contacts her father and warns him that the police will be in pursuit of Hagen and ultimately shoot him. Consequently, I've decided to search for Hagen. Meanwhile, the police have the dogs in their sights and begin opening fire, though a majority of the dogs escape and set off to seek their next victims. At this juncture, Box learns through a news broadcast about these dogs that they have lost all fear and are now collectively assaulting humans. It is then that Hagen arrives with his comrades and witnesses the assault by the dogs. He instigates an attack which results in all of the dogs savagely biting the spheres, and Hagen quietly observes his demise. Concurrently, White Dog encounters Lili and signals for her to trail him, leading her towards Hagen. However, en route, they are halted by an animal shelter employee who proceeds to shoot White Dog. Witnessing this, Lili beseeches the employee to spare the dog's life, yet the employee ignores her pleas and proceeds to euthanize the wounded White Dog. Afterwards, Lili runs to her father's house where she encounters the landlord's corpse, making her realize that Hagen, along with his companion dogs, was killing those who had harmed him. Lili fears that Hagen's final target is her father, as he was the one who left Hagen alone on the streets. Therefore, she rushes to save her father. Meanwhile, Daniel is worried about Lili's safety and starts looking for some weapons. In the meantime, Hagen and his dogs appear in the alley and around her, Lili attempts to converse with Hagen. Yet his trust in her is gone and he moves towards her furiously. At that moment, Daniel makes an entrance wielding a blowtorch, inciting the dogs to greater fury, eliciting loud barks in his direction. Witnessing the chaos, Lili's eyes fill with tears as she tries soothing the canines. Her efforts go unnoticed, prompting her to consider serenading them into silence with her trumpet. The sounds of Lili's trumpet pacify Hagen, leading him to settle down on the floor. Therefore, the rest of the dogs also sit down on the ground and start listening to Lili's music. Seeing this, Daniel is shocked. He also realizes that now his daughter is safe. In the last scene of the movie, Lili lies down on the ground in front of Hagen and his companions. And with that, this amazing movie comes to an end.